Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do a review on the new Covergirl foundation. So this is it. It's in L20. So I'm going to put it on. I also use their new primer. I'm going to give you a review throughout the day. It's about, right now, 1:37. So we'll see how it kind of lays throughout the day, and then by the evening how it is. The primer was really nice. It actually makes my skin really smooth, which I really like, and it kind of like evened everything out. So I feel really good with this primer on. This is probably like one of the best drugstore primers I've ever used besides Maybelline. So I'm excited to try this new Covergirl foundation. This is again in L20. This is matte. This is a matte finish. So we'll see how it lays. This foundation in L20 is light ivory. So I'm going to put it on the back of my hand. If it would open. Oh, that's really cool. It has a lock so it doesn't come pouring out. So let's squirt that out. It does look a little dark for me, but let's hope it's not. Also, this is the primer I used. It's the Covergirl True Blend Base Business Skin Primer. Really love this. We'll see how it feels throughout the day, but right now my skin looks so much more even than it did when I first put it on. So we'll see how it feels throughout the day. So I'm going to use my beauty blender. Well, this actually might be too light for me. I kind of guessed. That's the only thing I hate about drugstore is you never know what color you are because you can't really test it out. So this might actually be too light, but we'll roll with it. That's another really great thing about makeup is you can always fix a foundation color with your setting powder. And I'm using patting motions just so it looks a little more covered. I feel like when you swipe like this, you get a more airbrush finish, whereas when you pat, you get a full-on cover because it really sinks into the pores. My first impression of it going onto the skin is it does look matte right away, which is good. Usually foundations go on a little glossy, but I have to say, like, you can see it's pretty matte right off the bat. Does anyone else flip their head around a lot when they're doing their makeup? I'm just going to kind of blend the little bit that I have left on my hand down my neck, only because I don't like a lot of color on my neck because then I look like weird. Because a lot of times you're never the same color from your face to your neck. Like, I feel like I'm a lot more pale on my neck and like my chest area than I am on my face. So I don't like to typically blend it out too low, but I will put a little bit just to even everything out. So it is a little light. Usually I do go for a little more darker just to kind of like not look like a ghost, but coverage wise, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not fantastic. As you can see, like, obviously you're supposed to use concealer under your eyes, but you can see that, you know, it really hasn't helped much with my under eye bags. And typically with heavier based foundations, like full coverage foundations, they do cover a lot of the under eye bags and the underline lines, but this is more of a lightweight foundation, so you're not going to get a high coverage point, so you're still going to see that, but that's okay because we're going to go in with our concealer and see how that does. But I mean, overall the foundation feels good. It is really matte, which I enjoy that it's so matte. So whatever color you think you are, go a shade darker. So if you think you're ivory in this brand, Covergirl, and in this specific True Blend, go a shade darker than you normally would. So that's my recommendation on that, because typically I am an ivory. I'm actually like a classic ivory, and this is light ivory, so this is pretty close, and it's not right. Normally I would be baking after I set or put my concealer on, but I really don't have time. I'm kind of in a rush. So I'm gonna put my concealer on and just put my finishing powder. But typically I like to bake my under eye so that it lasts longer and it stays longer, especially because I do have dark circles. I'm using the Instant Age Rewind Eraser concealer for under my eyes. It is a very old product on the market, but it does work wonders. Obviously mine's brand new, so I have to kind of open it a little bit. This is a go-to concealer for me from the drugstore. I just feel like it really is thick consistency and covers your under eye really well. I also like this little sponge because it helps disperse the product more. Gotta crank it up. Gotta get more product out. We'll just kind of highlight up here a little bit. Just going to spray it with my Max Fix Plus. It just also helps everything else that's already on your face, like my foundation, just mix in and blend smoothly. This is my quick version. Normally I would be correcting my under eyes with like a peach little, usually I go for the True Blend or True Match, I think it is, not True Blend, I'm sorry. I had Covergirl True Blend in my head and L'Oreal True Match in my head. It's very confusing. But the L'Oreal True Match, there's like a peach color correcting stick. I'll have to upload a picture of it. Works wonders for under your eye. So we have concealed our under eyes. You can still see my little bags, but they're not as bad as they were. And I have to say the foundation mixed pretty nicely with the Maybelline concealer. I was a little concerned, but it's actually working nicely together. Because sometimes brands don't like each other and they don't mix well. I'm going to set everything with the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. This is like my go-to finishing powder that's drugstore. I just feel like it really gets in every little spot. The only problem I have with this loose setting powder is that it makes a mess everywhere. But that's why I have a little handy dandy mat because I just kind of, it gets everywhere. So I'm just gonna set all of that in. Now, I don't sweep if I want a full coverage. Since this foundation is light coverage, I really want to pack in my setting powder to kind of keep everything in place, especially my under eye concealer that I just did. But sometimes, like there are times where I will just sweep to get that nice airbrush finish, but since today I want a high coverage, I'm really gonna push it into the skin. Gonna take my little Fix Plus from MAC, spray it onto my beauty blender, and just kind of set all the powder I just put onto my face. Just do light dabs. You don't want to move the powder too much. You just want to mix it enough that it flows with everything else. For bronzer today, I'm going to use the Lorac Buildable Bronzing Powder. I just bought this the other day, which I'm really excited to try it. It's in Pool Party, the shade Pool Party. I'm just going to use a Real Techniques brush since it's right next to me and I don't feel like digging. Like I said, guys, I'm in a rush. I have to go with my mom to the doctor, so I'm kind of like doing a quick get ready with me. But I really just wanted to try on the True Blend foundation on camera so you guys could see how it sits and lays. I'll be checking in later to kind of give you the tea, as they would say, as to how it's laying and how it's oxidizing and how it's wearing throughout the day. I'm just gonna use the NYX Sweet Cheeks palette. This is my favorite drugstore blush palette. There's so many beautiful shades in it. Love it. What shade are we gonna do? We'll do some, should we do some pink? I have green. Actually, no, I lied. We're gonna do some orange. We're gonna pop into this shade since we have some orange on our upper eyes. Just gonna kind of go over everything, just sweep off any excess, not that there should be, but I just like to do that just to kind of let everything settle. I'm not gonna put any lipstick on because I'm about to go eat a salad. So on the go, I'm about to eat a salad on the go. So I will be back in a little bit, probably check in at about maybe an hour to 2 hours, depending what's going on. Again, I'm taking my mom to the doctor, so we'll see how long that takes us, and then we'll check in right after. I'll be back. Hey guys, so I am back. So it's been quite a couple long hours. We ended up being at the doctor for a really long time, and then when we came home, we were kind of just settling in. So it's about 8 o'clock right now. So this is what the foundation has become. I would say it changed. You can see, I mean, it kind of oxidized where it's starting to look a little greasy, not as matte as it was. So, I mean, it's not a long-lasting foundation. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give this foundation like a 5. It's not terrible, but it's not great, especially for a lightweight foundation. I mean, you can see it's starting to like fade up here and like show through here. Let me see on my acne. You can kind of see it popping through now. So I really am not a fan. My favorite is the 24-hour one from Maybelline, which I will do a video on that just to show you like how long that foundation lasts. I also have heard good reviews about the Neutrogena one, and I do want to review that soon. But the new Covergirl True Blend foundation is not great. However, the primer is amazing. My skin feels so hydrated, and it's really hard to find that in a primer, and I feel like that primer was amazing. I think that their blend for that is great. I think they're onto a great primer with that, but I don't like their foundation. I don't really know what went wrong, because I feel like the other Covergirl foundations, like even the more lightweight blends, are more covering than this one. So I definitely would not recommend the Covergirl True Blend foundation. I think that there are definitely better drugstore foundations, especially the Maybelline 24-hour one. But I will definitely do a video to show you like why I love that foundation. So all in all, I would say no to this. The packaging is great. It has a lock on it, which I love because it secures the product inside the bottle and it's not squirting all over the place. It's not drying out. Foundation is in the $10 range. It kind of varies depending on what store you go to, Walmart, CVS, but the highest it is $10. And I feel like that is a lot for a lightweight foundation that doesn't really last long. I mean, this has been like, what, 4 or 5 hours since I put this foundation on at like 1 o'clock or 1:45, I think I said. And it's already like falling apart. So this is not something you would wear for an all-nighter or like a party. It's falling apart. The primer is $9-10 range as well, but for a primer, I think that's really good, especially because I have to say, again, it has kept my skin really moisturized, and it kept the foundation in place, I think, as much as it could. I feel like with a better foundation, the two combinations would be fantastic. So I think when I do my video on my 24-hour foundation, I'm going to be using that primer just to see what happens. I definitely don't think you should buy this foundation. It's too overpriced for a lightweight foundation, and it doesn't last a long time coverage wise. but I definitely would recommend the primer, which I will link in the bottom box. As always, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned because soon I will be doing the video on the Ipsy bag I received. And yeah, then we'll, you know, be doing some other stuff. I actually just got all my lights set up and I got my tripod, so I will be doing a filming video on my camera soon. I just had to charge my camera's battery, so that's why I'm back on my phone. And so stay tuned, guys. Please subscribe and leave a comment below if you have any ideas. Mwah.